Hi preschoolers! Welcome back. It's Miss Trisha again. Today we're going to start off by reading a story called The Silly Scarecrow. And did you see who's in our story? It's Clifford. Have you ever read any Clifford the Big Red Dog books before? There's a lot of them. And this is one from when Clifford was just a little red puppy. Let's check inside. It looks like this book was written by Danielle Dungina and illustrated by Jim Dirk. Let's see, there we go. You can see the pictures a little better now. After breakfast one morning, Emily Elizabeth cuddled Clifford in her arms. "It's nearly time to head to Mountain View Farm. Clifford, we are going on a hayride today," she said excitedly. Clifford wagged his tiny red tail. Let's see, I want to make sure you can see too. When Emily Elizabeth went to get dressed, Norville called out to Clifford. "Be careful on your trip to the farm today," Norville said. "My bird friends tell me there's something scary lurking in the cornfields out there." Something scary. During the trip to the country, Clifford tried to enjoy the scenery. The mountains sparkled with fall colors and leaves danced around the train. But all Clifford could think about was the monster of Mountain View Farm. He is thinking about that scary thing that Norville told him. It wasn't long before they arrived. "Come on, Clifford, time for the hayride," Emily Elizabeth announced. Clifford felt very nervous, but this place didn't look scary at all. In fact, it looked quite fun. Emily Elizabeth lifted Clifford into the back of a farm trailer. It was loaded with bales of hay. It felt stiff and crunchy under Clifford's paws. The trailer busted and bumped its way around the farm. First they drove by the apple orchard, and next they stopped in the pumpkin patch. Do you see all those pumpkins down there? Let's see, I want to make sure you see this well. Looks like they're in a row of corn. Then the farm truck made a turn. They were headed straight toward the cornfield. The corn surrounded them on both sides, casting large shadows. Clifford suddenly felt even tinier than he was. And then he saw it. Hovering over Clifford was a scary monster waving its hands about. It was the monster of Mountain View Farm. Do you see that monster in there that he's talking about? Clifford quickly dove into the hay to hide. The Howard family looked at one another confused. "What's wrong with Clifford? What are you hiding from?" Emily Elizabeth asked. A moment later, the trailer stopped. Emily Elizabeth hopped out and looked around to see what the trouble was. And suddenly, she pointed and said, "I think I know what's frightening you." She carried Clifford over to get a closer look at what was scaring him. As they approached, Clifford hid his face in Emily Elizabeth's chest. But Emily Elizabeth reassured him. "Don't worry. It's nothing to be afraid of. Take a look, Clifford." Clifford looked up and cocked his head. In front of him was the monster of Mountain View Farm. But this monster didn't look so scary anymore. It was made out of cloth and wore only navy blue suspenders and a peaked hat. Its feet and hands were made of hay, and its nose was a felt triangle. "See, Clifford, it's just a silly scarecrow," Emily Elizabeth explained. "They're used to scare the birds away from the corn so they don't eat it." Clifford wasn't scared anymore. He was ready to play. "I guess I shouldn't believe everything I hear," he thought. The end. What a fun story. Do you remember at the beginning of our story how Neville the bird at the house kind of got Clifford scared by saying there was something there that all the birds talked about and how scary it was? Then when he went to the farm, he didn't really get to enjoy it as much as he would have normally because he was worried about what that scary thing might be. And it ended up being a scarecrow, which isn't too scary. But they use scarecrows on farms to help scare away birds and other animals so that they won't eat the fruit or vegetables on the farm. Because it kind of looks like a human. And to birds and animals, that's what it seems like. And they're not going to go eat somebody's fruit and veggies if they're standing right there, are they? Probably not. Make sure you check in our small group today. We're going to be making a scarecrow face. I want to see how yours turns out. Take care.